Okay, 75% of the MMA community is against the decision of last weekend's UFC 297 main event between Sean Strickland and Dricus Du Plessis. Guys, do not hate on me. I'm just trying to create a clear vision for you and to make you rethink the negativity that is going around in the MMA community right now. So first of all, it was a very close fight. And normally, I agree, a challenger has to be a hard-fought and overwhelmingly win the whole fight to go home with the belt. That I do agree with. I will say firstly, the Verdict MMA scorecards. The Verdict MMA scorecard is a fan-based fight scoring system where fans get the opportunity to score rounds and fights. And the final scorecard of this fight in the Verdict MMA system looked like this. You can see that rounds 2 and 3 were so crazy close, you could have given them to either man. And you would think in this case that a mixture of used weapons could be a factor of giving those rounds to the winner of that round. And in this case, the man that mixed it up was Dricus. And when we look at the scorecards of the officials, all 3 judges gave the first round to Sean. That was obvious. Second round was already questionable in the Verdict app, but the judges scored it for Dricus. The third round was a make or break for the decision of this fight. 2 gave it to Dricus and 1 gave it to Sean. However, the Verdict community gave that round to Dricus. And then the round number 4, obviously to Dricus, and round number 5, obviously to Sean, where everybody agreed on. So in reality, it was either those 2 rounds, round number 2 or round number 3, that were so questionable, but could have gone either way. And now my second point, the stats. People tend to only look at the thrown punches and the damage that has been given with all those punches. Understandable, but the sport is called mixed martial arts. Sean landed 154 strikes, with 125 of them landed on the head. 90 of those strikes were jabs. And Dricus already mixed it up, 78 to the head, mostly combinations, whereas he threw 36 of those to the body or legs. And he shot 11 times for the takedown, whereas 6 of them landed, which is very important in this whole mixture of fighting. And he controlled Sean for more than 2 minutes, which doesn't seem much, but could be such a difficult factor when you land those takedowns at the end of the round and then control Sean at the final 30 seconds. And yeah, Dricus is the one that mixed it up the whole fight. And that brings me to point number 3. Sean wanted to jab his way to the title defense, but that wasn't just enough. Dricus did just enough to mix it up and to take away the title from Sean. I know it sounds crazy, but when you think about it 2 times, it doesn't even sound crazy, because Sean really did just jab the whole time. And I know it's his way of, it's his style of fighting, but he couldn't walk Dricus down like he did to Adesanya, because Adesanya was just eminently dominated in that whole fight. And in this case, Dricus was the one who put the pressure on Sean. And that is also an important factor. Just the look of it, when somebody pressures someone, that's immediately a factor like, okay, that guy is going for it. That guy is mixing it up. That guy's throwing combinations. That guy's throwing takedowns. I'm leaning towards him. And that brings me to my 4th point, the shown damage to both men. Dricus did look far worse than Sean. He had a whole cantaloupe on his eye, while Sean claims that the horrible cut he received above his eye came from a headbutt. But in the fight, you can clearly see the exact moment when the fist connects to the eye socket of Sean, split the whole orbital open, so I'm not ready to believe that. I know Sean dropped a video about it, but I think the main reason was the fist that connected to his orbital socket. And for example, I want to go back in time a bit. When we have the fight, GSP against Johnny Hendricks. A crazy close fight, but GSP did end up winning by a small margin, and everybody was yapping, oh, robbery, look at his face. But GSP won the fight eventually. And my other example is Michael Bisping against Dan Henderson. Bisping looked battered. He looked so far worse than Dricus did, but still won the fight. By the logic of damage, you'd say they should both lose their fights, respectively. Yeah, guys, I know this erupted in the community, and I can't argue the fact that I also feel bad for Sean, because I wanted him, I'd love to see him defend the title in a crazy way, but jabbing your way to a title defense is not it. And Dricus, I'm happy for Dricus, I can't argue that either. He's the one that wanted it more, in my opinion. And I see many people are starting to twist it up and are starting to understand why. But I'd rather see a rematch because I'm very eager to see how Sean will revamp from this situation right now. But I think the rematch will never happen when Adesanya or Pereira are knocking at your door. So we gotta look at the UFC. I know there are also claims that Sean was on the brink of getting cancelled and Dana just couldn't have him as a champion because Sean is like the voice of us, the general people, because he says what we mostly think. And in a world that is so feminine, you just can't have a guy like that. How sad it must be, and it angers me also. And I know Dana said it was 2-2 going into 5. That's just a dab on the wound to calm down the many angry fans. Dana isn't stupid. But yeah, guys, keep it clean under the comments, please. Let me know down below what you think. I'd be happy to discuss this even more on a nice way. So don't forget, stay hydrated, like and subscribe. Bye.